it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, April 14th. So the moon is going to be moving out of Virgo energy, and we will kind of feel the vibe get a little bit higher, a little bit brighter, a little bit more playful when the moon moves into Libran energy. And of course, moving into Libran energy is going to activate the full moon window. We have the full moon in Libra taking place on Saturday. So we're definitely feeling the intensity builds. We're definitely kind of coming to some kind of realizations about our work-life balance, our individual wants, needs, and desires versus the wants, needs, and desires for connection, for partnership, for teamwork. There's a lot of aha moments going to come to the surface over the next couple of days. And with this Libran energy, we are very much in our heads. We're very much in a social kind of attitude. And we very much want to find peace and balance and fun in our energy exchanges. So the moon will be going void, of course, around 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll be locking into Libran energy around 5 p.m. So keep in mind that there is a couple of hours late this afternoon that will be a little bit choppy, a little bit unstable, a little bit, I'm going to say, dizzy and anxiety filled until, of course, we lock into that Libran energy. It's a very busy day here in the cosmos. We have Mars moving into Pisces out of that Aquarian energy. Definitely listen to the astro forecast about that. I go into a little bit more depth on what it is that we can expect from Mars being in Pisces for the next couple of weeks. And with 13 different aspects here today, and 11 of them involving the moon, you can bet that we are going to have a little bit of a bouncy kind of energy. And of course, affecting the ascension symptoms coming in. Would be a great time to go listen to the ascension forecast for this week. Remind yourselves of the physical symptoms that not only you're experiencing, but the ones that are still to come as we build towards this full moon in Libra. So the moon right out of the gate bumps into Mercury. And of course, Mercury is the ruler over this Virgo moon. The moon is still in Virgo for the better part of the morning. And this particular interaction is a little bit of tension. The reason why there's a little bit of tension is because we have some new information coming in that is really going to skew our plans. As you know, the last couple of days of the moon in Virgo has been all about organizing, compartmentalizing, analyzing our thoughts, our feelings, our plans, our strategy for moving forward. And now, the closer that we get to the full moon, we are going to have information and details, revelations, aha moments come forth that now we have to incorporate in our thoughts, in our perspectives, in our plans. The moon is going to trine the true node, which does suggest that out of this little semi-conflict, this little cluster F in our brains, we're actually going to come to a little bit of a realization and gain a whole lot of clarity. That true node is the destiny point, trying to get us on the right track, aiming our energy and attention for the path that is going to get us to our dreams and visions. This little cluster F, like I said, sometimes we need confusion in order to gain the clarity. This is definitely going to do well for us, gaining perspective, gaining clarity, getting that heart and head on the same page. The sun, though, goes ahead and bumps into Jupiter in a way that it will likely be outside of our control, acting as an activator or a trigger from a circumstance, from a situation, from a relationship in our exterior realms. The sun in Aries is our ego identity. It is where we are being illuminated to where it is that we have to reignite the spark within us, set ourselves on a path moving forward, be direct, be straightforward, and going after what it is that we want. But Jupiter over here, who is all about growth, all about expansion, all about blessings and rewards and abundance. He just had this very, very important astrological aspect with Neptune just a couple of days ago. And Jupiter, being in Piscean energy, wants to show us where it is that there are new soul contracts being kind of unfolded, where we have to listen to our intuition instead of our egoic self. And because of this outside situation, we do have a choice point unfolding here on whether or not we're going to react from ego, which is very much the sun in Aries, that fire energy, just jumping on it without thinking, acting without playing out the variable consequences, and Jupiter in Piscean energy that is very connected to our higher selves, our soul selves, our intuition. This is a choice point to see that the situation going on outside of us that we don't really have control over, how it is that we're going to handle it, how it is that we're going to understand it, how it is that we are going to interact with that particular energy. The moon bumps into Saturn in a way that plays off of this earlier activation, this earlier trigger point where we get to boss up. This tells me that many of us, the collective, the majority of the collective, is recognizing right now where it is that we are distancing ourselves from our ego and where it is that we are trying to embrace our higher selves. Why do I say this? Well, because Saturn, the Lord of Karma, is ruling over the new roles and responsibilities that we're kind of being pushed into very hesitantly. The moon bumping into Saturn in this way is an opportunity to see where this outside activation point is actually providing us an opportunity to make a choice and to boss up, to level up, to recognize where it is that we're analyzing the situation. We're recognizing that if we act the same way, if we speak out of turn, if we're kind of rigid in our thoughts and we hold the same emotions, that we're only going to be repeating past patterns and behaviors, and of course, creating a situation that seems very familiar to what it is that we've been comfortable in living in. But we're also being aspected with needing to trust our higher selves, recognizing that we have to take a leap of faith. We have to trust the greater, grander plan. And that means taking a good look at our physical lives, our physical circumstances as of yet, and seeing what it is that we would like to change in spite of it in order to get a different result. At this particular point in time, the moon sits across from and opposes both Neptune and Jupiter. The moon in Virgo sits across from the Piscean energy. Neptune and Jupiter just had their major conjunction. This is opening up a brand new 12-year cycle, and it's also an event that we will only experience once in a lifetime because it created a trigger and an activation amongst the collective for the next level of awakening. This is essentially slamming the door on the Piscean age that we are leaving and opening that door even more wide for the age of Aquarius that we are moving into. The moon sitting across from Neptune and Jupiter is really putting us at odds because the moon in Virgo wants us to focus on what is in the physical realm of the here and now. And Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces energy wants us to focus on our higher selves, our soul selves, the universal plan. And that doesn't make sense to the over analytical, highly judgmental, super critical Virgo energy. The moon at this particular point in time bumps into the sun. Now we're having an overlap. The moon is very much our emotions, our unconscious self, our past, and what it is that we're attached to. The sun, of course, is our ego, identity, what it is that our time, energy, and attention needs to be poured into right now in order to create brand new beginnings. This is very much still playing off of the earlier activation and trigger outside of our control, giving us a choice point on what it is that we are going to do about the situation. Are we going to react from ego or respond from our higher self? The moon trines Pluto right before going void of course. This last aspect with Pluto, the great transformer, speaks volumes that we had an aha moment acting as the observer. We had an aha moment that is going to change our understanding and perspective in our psyche, in our mental plane, which in turn changes our emotions and how it is that we feel about the circumstance and the situation in front of us. And because of that, we're able to make a different choice. The transforming energy of Pluto is positioning us to to step into our power, to step into a brand new role of authority where we can create a change not only in our heart and head, but in our physical realms. This is when the moon goes void of course. And this is where things get shaky. Anytime the moon is void of course, you do not want to make any commitments. You do not want to make any decisions. You do not want to freak out, speak out, because everything is unstable. Everything is uncertain. While the moon is void, we bump into Uranus energy. Uranian energy is the great awakener. It likes to shock us. It likes to awe us. But right now, because the moon is void of course, and the aspect that it's making to this Uranian energy, we're having a lot of confusion. That is 100% absolutely necessary, preparing us to gain a whole lot of clarity. The moon bumps into Saturn while void. And Saturn, of course, showing us where it is that we need to start building new systems, new structures, new foundations for how it is that we're going to act, how it is that we're going to behave, how it is that we're going to express ourselves and control the elements in our lives in order to start building the bridge from where it is that we're currently at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon bumps into Mars. This is Mars's last aspect while in Aquarian energy. We're at a 29th critical degree. And anytime that happens from any planet hitting that critical degree, the pressure is on. We are going to feel the want, need, and desire to move your body, take action. But don't take action just for the sake of taking action. If it is not well thought out, if it's not part of the strategy, if it is not part of the plan, do not make a move in aggressing yourself forward. Do not make a move in expressing yourself. Again, the moon is void. We do not want to make any drastic decisions. We do not want to take any dramatic type of actions. We do not want to commit to anything at this particular point in time. But this will likely create a lot of mental blockages, mental confusion. This Aquarian energy rules over the higher octave of our intellect. We are going to be confused on what it is that we're supposed to do, what it is that we want to do, what it is that we desire to do. Just sit with it. At this particular point in time, the moon locks into Libran energy. Suddenly, we're going to feel that pressurized system release just a tad. We're going to feel a little bit more lighter in our mental plane, in our heart space. We're going to recognize where it is that we want to be a little bit more playful. We're having an energy where we just want to get our truth out, talk it out, get our feelings out of our body. The very first aspect that the moon in Libra makes is with Mercury. Mercury is in Taurus, kind of grounding our thoughts out, having us only speak on very important matters. And the moon and Mercury is both our heart and our head, harmonizing with one another, getting on the same page. And we have to consider the fact that Libra and Taurus are both ruled over by Venus. They have a lot in common. This is why we're going to feel brighter. This is why we're going to feel lighter. This is why we're going to definitely feel the shift in the energy. And at this particular point in time, at the very end of the day, this is when we have Mars move out of that critical Aquarian degree and bust into Piscean energy. The anger, the aggression will likely subside. That intensity, that desire to push forward, to take action, to make a change will lessen. Because Mars, now in Pisces, needs to unleash its spiritual, intuitive self and really sit with some of the ideas and inspirations that have been downloaded to us while Mars was in Aquarian energy and see if it sits right in our soul. Again, please go listen to that astro forecast where I dive way more into depth on what it is that Mars in Pisces is going to offer us for the next couple of weeks.